You buy the most expensive food, yet they refuse to eat a single bite until you add their favorite treat. They wake you up at 3 a.m. demanding attention, or swat at your hand when you try to gently move them off your keyboard. When your cat acts like this, friends and family might laugh and tell you that you simply have a spoiled cat. But what if I told you that in the feline world, the concept of being spoiled doesn't actually exist? The truth is, those demanding cries, stubborn habits, and sudden tantrums aren't signs of a cat acting like pampered royalty. Instead, they are clear indicators of a miscommunication, a hidden cycle of behavior that you have accidentally created. By labeling them as spoiled, you might be missing what your cat is desperately trying to tell you. Let's uncover the reality behind these behaviors. Living with a cat that dictates your schedule, refuses their meals, or decides exactly when you are allowed to sleep can be incredibly exhausting. It is so easy to look at a cat throwing a tantrum over a closed door or rejecting an expensive brand of kibble and assume they are just being entitled. We naturally project human emotions onto them, labeling this behavior as being spoiled. However, when we do this, we usually react with frustration or simply give in, which actually reinforces the exact habits we want to stop. In this video, we are going to break down 6 clear signs that your cat might be controlling your household. Based on feline behavioral research, clinical observations, and real-life care experience, we will decode the psychological mechanisms behind these actions and show you exactly how to reset those boundaries without breaking their trust. So let's start with one of the most common power struggles you probably face every single day, the battle at the food bowl. Let's start with the very first sign, one that happens almost every day right in your kitchen. 1. The food critic. When it is mealtime, your cat sniffs the premium wet food you just opened, gives you a look of utter disdain, and walks away. Sometimes they even scratch at the floor as if trying to bury it. They will cry and refuse to eat a single bite until you sprinkle their favorite treats on top or open a completely different flavor. Many cat owners report this as the ultimate sign of a spoiled pet, assuming their cat simply has expensive, picky tastes and is forcing you to serve them better meals. However, behavioral researchers have observed that cats are incredibly smart survivalists who quickly understand cause and effect. This behavior is actually a classic example of positive reinforcement. If they skip a meal for just 1 hour and you immediately panic and offer them a high-value treat, they learn exactly how to train you. Their true meaning isn't that the food is bad. They have simply realized that you are easily manipulated by their hunger strikes. To fix this, you need to establish a strict feeding schedule. Leave the bowl down for 15 to 20 minutes. If they do not eat, calmly pick it up and offer nothing else until the next scheduled meal. Healthy cats will not starve themselves, and consistency will teach them that holding out no longer works. But manipulating your schedule rarely stops at dinner time. This brings us to the second sign, which often bleeds into the middle of the night. 2. The sleep disruptor. You are deep in sleep and suddenly at 3 a.m., a heavy paw smacks your face, or you hear relentless scratching at your bedroom door. To stop the noise and get some rest, you get up, fill their food bowl, or play with them for a few minutes. We often brush this off as our cats just being needy or spoiled with our constant attention. In reality, cats are naturally crepuscular, meaning they are biologically wired to be most active at dawn and dusk. But when you respond to their 3 a.m. wake-up calls, you are accidentally paying them for their disruptive behavior. What your cat is actually saying is that they have successfully trained a human-sized, interactive vending machine that dispenses food or attention whenever they push the right buttons. The most effective advice here is total ignorance. You must completely ignore the behavior. Do not scold them, do not push them away, and definitely do not feed them. Feign sleep. To prevent the energy spike in the first place, play with your cat intensely until they are panting slightly, and then feed them a large meal right before you go to bed. If this is helping you understand your cat better, take a second to like this video and subscribe. And stay until the final sign, because it is often the one owners miss the most, even though it can change how safe your cat feels around you. Moving on to the third sign of a supposedly spoiled cat. 3. The boundary ignore. Whenever you sit down to work, your cat immediately sprawls across your keyboard, blocks your monitor, or aggressively nudges your phone out of your hand. It is incredibly easy to view this as a cat demanding to be the center of the universe, acting completely entitled to your personal space at all times. While it looks like a spoiled demand for affection, this behavior is usually caused by a severe lack of environmental enrichment. Studies on indoor feline behavior show that when a cat's territory is understimulating, they naturally seek out the most dynamic, interesting thing in the room, you. The true meaning behind this boundary invasion is a desperate cry for mental and physical stimulation. You are their only source of entertainment in an otherwise boring house. Instead of constantly pushing them away, which they still view as a form of attention, you should provide them with acceptable alternatives. Place a heated cat bed or a tall scratching post right next to your desk. Provide automated interactive toys in another room, or set up a window perch with a bird feeder outside to naturally redirect their hunting focus. When passive boundary breaking does not work, cats often escalate their tactics. That leads us to the fourth sign. 4. The vocal demander. If a door is closed, they scream. If you are preparing their food too slowly, they yell. They use a specific, piercing meow whenever they want something immediately, and they will not stop until they get it. People often joke that their cat is just bossy or a diva who loves to complain about the service. But here is a fascinating fact. Adult cats rarely meow at each other in the wild. Meowing is a communication tool they developed almost exclusively for humans. A 2009 study on feline vocalization found that cats can embed a high-frequency cry within their purrs and meows that closely resembles the pitch of a human baby's cry. Your cat isn't just complaining. They have calculated the exact vocal frequency that triggers your nurturing instincts and breaks your emotional resistance fastest. To stop this auditory manipulation, you must reward silence. Do not yell back, as negative attention is still attention. Wait for a pause in their crying, even if it is just for 3 seconds. And only then should you open the door, put the food bowl down, or offer a pet. But what happens when vocalizing fails and they still don't get their way? That brings us to sign number 5. 5. The tantrum thrower. You are gently petting your cat, and when you stop, they immediately nip your hand. Or perhaps you pick them up to move them off the kitchen counter, and they swat at you aggressively. Many owners label this as grumpy or spoiled rotten behavior, assuming the cat is just throwing a nasty temper tantrum because they were told no. In truth, this stems from overstimulation and a very low frustration tolerance. If a cat was allowed to play bite human hands as a kitten, they never learned proper bite inhibition. When things do not go exactly as they expect, they simply lack the emotional coping mechanisms to handle the disappointment. Their true message is not pure aggression. It is an inability to process frustration, using mild violence to force you into compliance or to vent their sudden stress. To correct this, you must teach them that violence makes the fun stop immediately. The second their teeth or claws touch your skin, end all interaction. Stand up, tuck your hands away, and walk out of the room. This inability to handle frustration connects perfectly to the 6th, final, and absolutely most crucial sign. 6. The my way or the highway. Cat. Your cat seems to have a complete emotional meltdown over the smallest changes in the house. If you switch their litter brand, move their food bowl a few feet, or invite a guest over, they react extremely, hiding under the bed for days, going on a hunger strike, or even eliminating outside the litter box. It is incredibly common for owners to sigh and say, "They are just so spoiled. They are punishing me for changing things." But in feline psychology, cats do not act out of spite or hold grudges. A 2020 study on feline attachment and environmental stress suggested that what we view as a diva fit is actually a glaring symptom of feline anxiety. An overly spoiled cat is often a highly insecure cat. Because you have carefully curated their entire world to avoid upsetting them, they have become overly reliant on micro-routines. The true meaning behind their extreme reaction is pure panic. Their world suddenly feels unsafe, and they do not have the confidence to adapt. The best advice here is to stop over-sheltering them. You absolutely need to build their confidence through predictable, positive daily routines like scheduled playtimes. However, you should also introduce small, manageable changes into their environment gradually. This teaches them emotional resilience, ensuring that they feel secure and brave in their territory rather than fragile and anxious the moment life doesn't go exactly their way. As we have seen, behaviors like food refusal, 3 a.m. wake-up calls, and sudden tantrums are not signs of a spoiled or malicious cat. They are simply reflections of how we have accidentally trained them to get their needs met. Understanding your cat is not just about reading their behavior. It is about deeply respecting the way they communicate. True love for your feline friend does not mean giving in to every single demand, but rather setting healthy, consistent boundaries so they can feel truly secure and confident in their home. Which of your cat's demanding behaviors is the hardest for you to say no to? Let me know in the comments. If you learned something new about the way your cat speaks to you, subscribe for more quiet truths about feline behavior. And if you want to know the everyday habits that secretly make your cat lose trust in you, watch the next video, because some of them look completely harmless.